What's up, everybody? I'm Dorian Martin, and this is the Dorian Martin Podcast. Welcome. And this is going to be the first ever edition of the podcast. So, obviously, I'm not going to have any guests today. Maybe within the next couple of episodes, I'll have someone special out here for you guys. But until then, without further ado, all that, let's get started. So, what I want to talk about today is basically, I'm a filmmaker. I got into filmmaking about 5 years ago. I just turned 30 earlier this week. And I got into filmmaking because I didn't want to look up and be 30 years old where I am today. And I didn't give it everything that I had. And I'm going, oh man, now I'm ready to start trying to give this everything I got. So that's when I was just like, at the age of 25, 26, I was a police officer. And I told myself, let's start diving in. And I started doing like some extra work and that kind of stuff. And because I wanted to have like that onset experience, you know what I mean? And I really wanted to give myself the opportunities to finally be there. And so I was just like, okay, let me just start doing some extra work. And I started doing like going up to Chicago. I live in Central Ohio. So I had to take the Greyhound because I was broke. I had no money. So I had to take the Greyhound. I had to ask my brother for like $200, another family friend for another $200 so I could stay in a hotel because it was during COVID and you had to like take the COVID test and it added like an extra 2 days to like being like a part of any kind of set. So I'm on the Greyhound in the middle of the night. It's freezing outside. It's in February, it's snowing, and I've got enough clothes, some canned soup, and some other stuff, and just like these two bags that I'm kind of like sleeping with between my legs because like we had this like layover in Indianapolis, which is the worst Greyhound bus station ever, and with some funny experiences just being there. And I'm a law enforcement officer at the time, so I'm packing a little bit and I'm trying to make sure that ain't nobody trying to walk up on me. Anyways, I got all this stuff, these like different changes of clothes because you had to bring different changes of clothes, and it was for the set of Chicago Fire. It's for that. So it was at a Cinespace or Science Space, or I'm not sure how you say it, but you had to bring like 3 different changes of clothes for like wardrobe. And we were going to be the Molly's patrons, people who were just like inside the bar. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to get out there. Someone's going to see me. This is how it's going to happen. I'm going to get discovered. And I might even try to squeeze me a line in. It's going to be, oh, hey, we didn't have this person show up and we need someone to say these lines. And I'm just going to just step forward and it's going to be a whole Cinderella story and blah, blah, blah. That's my thinking. The whole time I'm sitting at this Indianapolis Greyhound bus station, which was just a complete dumpster fire. This homeless man tried to fight this woman that was like right next to me. And it was funny because we both saw it coming. Like he was just in there. I don't know who he was talking to originally. When he came in there talking to himself and yelling and screaming, and he's just going back and forth like, and I'm sitting there like this, hoping like, oh man, please don't let this dude see me. It's one of those situations where you don't want to make eye contact because it's going to turn into something like he's just waiting to make eye contact with somebody. So this like homeless man and a wife beater just walking around, just looking for somebody to start something with. And this woman is like eating and she's on her phone and she like looks up at him and he's like, "Huh, you fat babe, you fat." And I'm just like this, man. She's like, "Don't come over here. Don't come over here." And I'm like, oh, it's going to be all worth it. Just going through this. I ain't got to go through it long. Only thing I got to do is just show myself up on set once and somebody's going to see me and that's going to be it. I'm going to take off and my career is going nowhere but up. Anyway, so we ended up being at that layover in Indianapolis for like 3 hours. Finally, we get on the bus. We get up to Chicago and I had to go directly from the bus station to Cinespace to do my COVID test. And I had never been in a taxi cab before. Taxi cab driver tried to rip me off. And because I made the mistake and asked him, hey, how much does it usually cost to get from here to there? Oh, it costs about, I think he said like $20, and it was like 5 minutes up the street. And he added in the tip and everything like that. So I handed him a $20 bill, and he thought I was going to hand him more than that for a tip. And I was like, here you go. I was Googling things as I was sitting back here. Get to center space. It's freezing outside, and I got my denim jacket on, and I'm all dressed up, thinking, okay, yeah, I'm out here with the studio. I see the set and the lots and stuff like that. Got the lot numbers on there, and I'm walking. I'm thinking, like, yeah, it's about to happen. Somebody gonna see me. I'm gonna get discovered. This is it. It's finally happening. I'm out here. Go in, take the COVID test. I'm being very cautious about how I'm standing. Is everybody looking at my good side? Am I smiling enough? And it's a line of people. It's all like mixed different kinds of people because we're all extras. This is just for extra work. And go in, take the COVID test, get it done. And the whole time, I don't even know if I'm even going to be allowed because like this is back when I don't know if you remember COVID was like you might not even know that you have COVID and you would test positive for it because it was just in the air, I guess, at the time, and it was everywhere. So once the COVID test is done, I get into an Uber this time, which was a lot cheaper than a cab. Ubers were pretty cheap up in Chicago at the time, and I don't use Uber anymore, but that's a story for a different day. But I get into an Uber and get over to what was the cheapest hotel that I could possibly find. And I'm basically $100 short because they want to charge me like $100 insurance for like each night. So I'm on the phone with another family friend because again, I'm broke. I'm on the phone with a family friend. This is my friend George. I'm like, hey George, can you spot me $100? I'll pay back to you once I get paid next week. I'm up here in Chicago. It's freezing outside, and I can't even get into the hotel. And my bus is leave for like another 2 days. He's like, man, it ain't no big deal. You ain't gotta tell me all that. You know what I mean? Here, you know what I mean? We friends, man. It's cool. Here, I know you're gonna float it back to me. Shoots it to me, and I finally get into the room, and it was the best feeling because I got to shut all those doors behind me, and I was like, all right, I'm in the hotel. I'm set. I got enough money to Uber back and forth for the next couple of days to this set. And as soon as I get out there, it's on. So finally done, with all the hard part. And I'm staying in this hotel. I get the email back. You passed the COVID test. Make sure that you come prepared. Don't take any photos with the main cast members. Don't do this, that, and the next thing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm ready. I ain't worried about them anyways. Get we get on set a day and a half later, and as we're actually before we get there, it's like the biggest snowstorm I had ever been in had happened. It was like 3 feet of snow. I don't even know, like it just happened overnight. It's that lake effect. Like I haven't been to Cleveland. I live in Ohio. I've seen a lot of snow, but Chicago snow that they get is next level. Like Cleveland is a lot more cold, but Chicago that the snow that they get is just off the chain. So like I'm sitting up there, this Uber is that I'm in a little Prius, and this guy's driving through like a foot of snow on the road. Like they don't even have plows out that can keep up with this amount of snow. And I'm worried that I'm gonna get out here and I'm not even gonna be able to get inside the set because like it's gonna be closed. And I only have enough money to Uber back and forth like 4 different times. I factored in the amount of times I would have to Uber back and forth. I should have had like $14 left over after the whole trip to just like buy like a sandwich or something if I ate all of my food or something like that and I was hungry. Like I am in complete starving artist mode. I have committed. So I'm worried I'm gonna waste one of my Uber trips. And we get there, they're going. Like, okay, like go check in. You need to be here in I think it was like spot A or something like that, and you just waiting here with all these other people, like 11 or 12 other people. They got their suitcases and they're all like wide-eyed just like me, except they had did this 100 other times. These are Chicago natives. I'm telling everybody like, yeah, I came in from Columbus, and they're looking at me like, really? Columbus, Georgia? Oh, Columbus, Ohio? Why'd you come this far? We don't have nothing like this in Columbus. It's like they're all like shocked that I went through all of this just to be an extra because like there's so many things filming around Chicago. So they get to do it all the time. And people will sign up and not even show up. So like I think it was like 20 people or something like that that signed up and didn't even show up because they do it so much. And like they've got all these stories about how they had been on set for Empire and oh Taraji so nice, or I was there one day, Terrence Howard made everybody wait for like 3 hours because he was talking outside. And I was like, oh, it's Terrence Howard. I mean, If he's gonna make people wait, he's probably gonna, he's gonna make people wait. We're just extras. But everybody's got all these different stories about, the people that they met. And yeah, Eamon Walker's really nice, blah, 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 blah. This is a great show to do. Oh, have you done Chicago Med? That one's really good. And oh, I don't really like doing Chicago PD. And it's just, everybody has done it so many different times. This is my first time as an extra. And I had never seen SAG people before. So I get out there and all the SAG people, they're all lounging. They're sitting like this. Like, yeah, we're SAG. We get paid weekly. We get this much money. Oh yeah, this is your first set. This is a big deal to you then. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is like a big deal for you. And that's actually what this girl had said to me. And I was a little bit offended, like, shut up. This is a big deal for you. This is as far as you want to go. A glorified extra. You just want to be SAG superstar extra of the week. Talking trash to me just because I came all the way up here from Ohio. But anyways, I get out there and they tell me, all right, we're going to have you sit at this table. And I see where the table is. And it's like right in front of like, they got 3 cameras. They got these 3 really big areas. I had never been on a set before. And I'm like looking around at everything. And I had an idea of how like a set was ran, just like anyone who aspires to be an actor, or an actor or an actress, you know like what a set and BTS shots and behind the scenes and everything like that looks like. So like I get out there and I'm looking at the entire set and everything like that. And it's all amazing. I couldn't have been happier that I was there. Eamon Walker comes in and I see Eamon Walker sit down. I'm like, oh man, it's Eamon Walker. I got to say something to Eamon Walker. I got to talk to him or something because my dad's going to want to know if I talk to Eamon Walker. My dad knew the whole time I was going up there. He was like, yeah, Eamon Walker, make sure you talk to him, son. You talk to him. That's an experienced actor. You see if he can tell you the right things that you're supposed to do, like how to get to where he's at. So I see Eamon Walker, and there's this one dude that just would not shut up. I mean, he was sitting right underneath him. He had just got hired on as one of the new SAG-AFTRA stand-ins, and he was just, I mean, he did everything but carry Eamon Walker's coffee for him. And I'm just looking at him like, all right, but this ain't going, the conversation with him's not going to happen. So they tell me, okay, you're going to be sitting at this table, and it's like right in front of the camera. And there's this one seat, there's 3 seats. And there's one that's right in front of the lens. It's looking like right down the line of the lens. And I go right to it. I just start speed walking past the other 2 people. And I sit there, and the guy who's in charge of the background director, whatever it is that he's called, he looks, Dorian, we're going to go ahead and have, I can't remember what that girl's name was. We're going to go ahead and have her, the girl who decided she wanted to tell me how big of a deal it was that I was there. We're going to have her sit there. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. So they sit her right there, and, she's got this huge, just like, this girl's pretty arrogant. Like, and she was one of those people that's just arrogant amongst all the new people that are there. And it's like, get over yourself. I didn't really care, but I would have loved to have that seat because it was right in the center of the shot. And so now I go from the center to off to the side. And the guy who's directing the background, he tells me, okay, so look, here's what we're going to do. I want you to wait about 5 seconds. I'm going to have you go ahead and walk across the camera. Like, we're going to pan left, and we want you to, after 5 seconds after we cue background, we're going to say action. And then wait a few seconds. We're just going to have you stand up and just like go walk and exit and then come back and sit back down. And I'm like, this is it. So the camera gets rolling, and people have always told me that I had a really nice smile. So I make sure that throughout the entire duration of filming, I'm just grinning. I'm cheesing like this. I'm like, I got to smile hard enough that people go, man, look at that background. Look at that person in the background. Look at all them teeth he's showing. So I'm sitting like this, watermelon, 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 watermelon. It's very weird because it's quiet. Like, we weren't allowed to wear shoes, and you had to stay quiet. Like, all the background noise is added in. I did not know that. So like, we're all mumbling and stuff like that. And I get up, I walk across the camera, and I come back, And that was about it. I mean, like I didn't really get the kind of big opportunity that I thought I was going to get, but the most that I got out of it was initially what I set out to do, and that was learn how a set was ran so that I could shoot my own productions. Prior to this brings me to my point. Prior to going up there to Cleveland or Chicago, I knew that I was going to have to basically give myself an opportunity. I had applied everywhere, you know, all the Shirley Hamiltons and DeSantis and Stewart Talent agencies, and I had applied everywhere, even the local boutique agencies around Ohio. I was with Helen Wells at the time. Was It's a very good modeling agency, but they were trying to get into more TV film jobs for their talents. So they weren't really able to give me the kind of work that I wanted. So that was where I was at the time. Was I was with Helen Wells, and I just wasn't getting anything for like a few months. I had sold this huge sectional couch that I had so that I could pay for my headshots, and you know, I'm making all these little short action thriller indie shorts with my cell phone, and you know, doing all this the same typical stuff that everybody does, sending out 1,000 different emails to so many different agents. I probably contacted every talent agency that you can Google and find in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and Atlanta. And I started to notice things as I was doing that I would read certain things on websites like on those websites like basically that let me know what it is that they get a huge volume of emails, and they're only looking for specific things at a certain time. It really doesn't matter, you know, all the material that you have. Like they say, yeah, you got to make sure that you have your headshots and your this, that, and the next thing. But really, all that doesn't matter if they're only looking for Black Latinx females. That's all they're going to take is Black Latinx females, because the productions who are looking for Black Latinx females are contacting these agencies and saying we want Black Latinx females. So in my demographic, as was a 20s Black male, was not heavily casted in a whole lot of productions, and it's really hard for people in their 20s in general, because like once you get to your 30s and 50s, it seems like there's all kinds of different like day player roles for those roles. But for the people in their 20s, it really gets it's very difficult to get those jobs. And then for males, it gets even more difficult. Then for dark skinned males, there are very, very, very few far and wide roles out there. So that was something I started to notice, and I started to look for like, you know, well, how where are all these where are the roles for like people that, you know, like me, that fit my demographic. You know, there's Damson Idris from Snowfall, there's Idris Elba, there's John Boyega, there's that guy from Get Out. They're all dark skinned, very great actors. They got, you know, who are their agents? How did they get these jobs? I started to know some. They're all from across the pond in the UK. And I'm like, well, let me look over there for see if I can get like an agent over there, because they got to have agents over here. So I tried to basically do the same thing that they did, and it was interesting because more of the agencies over there and casting directors would actually email me back, and they would at least give me a polite no, or hey, email us back later on in the year, or hey, it's COVID, we're going to focus on these talents yet, but let us know what you're up to, that kind of thing. Over here in America, I got nothing. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. And there is the industry over there is basically there's more of an industry in London, UK than there is Chicago. Like, yeah, it's a huge film industry, but in Chicago, but over there, like it's classes, it's theater, it's a bunch of different agents, all in this one city, all in this one area, you know, and it's more of a community of creatives and uh, more of a talent community, more of an acting community. And it was just weird to me that I was getting more of a response from the people in the UK than I did here. So that's basically when I got to the point. I was like, I'm gonna have to shoot my own film. And so that's when I got to Chicago and I'm watching everything and I'm looking at everything that I've learned. Like, okay, that's the camera. All right, and I'm looking at the camera and I've learned everything about the camera. Okay, okay, that's the signal transmitter for the monitor. There's there's the lens, there's the box, and I'm looking at how they're setting everything up. Like I'm looking at the gaffers and how they're setting up the lighting. I'm trying to get look at the monitors and see exactly what it is that they're looking at as far as the graphs and all those things. And I'm basically going, okay, so this is how a film set is ran. They shot everything, they moved the whole set around, and they shot the very same thing again, but from different angles. And from studying film, it's pretty much what it looked like, but I had to see what it was like to shoot an actual film or major production before I tried to shoot my own little indie shorts, and that's what I did. And I came back home and I shot my first feature film. My first one I ever did was a feature film, and it was Bear. It was about an hour, just under an hour long, and I used my family and used. I shot it with my family and friends. My brothers were in it. The little kid in there, Levi. That's my youngest brother. My twin brother Adonis is in it. My friends Josiah, Ed, my sister-in-law, my friend Joey, who was overzealous about the entire thing. And that's kind of the thing. Like you think everyone's gonna really want to do this great thing, like this film that you want to do, and that's really not how it works. Like everyone's not all excited to do it like you. Everybody says, most of the responses you get is, I don't know if I can do that, and I have I have anxiety or stage fright. I'm like, bro, it's just it ain't nobody out here but us. What are you scared of? Look at this camera. You know what I mean? Like this is it right here. This is acting. Everything we're doing right now. All this talking, all this, but all that. Let's do this, but let's do it on camera. Like this is gonna be fun. And that's what I was trying to convince people. But my friend Joey, he definitely made it fun, and he's like, all right, yeah, I want you to actually tackle me. And putting him and my brother Adonis in the same scene, I was starting to think it was going to be a disaster because they could not stop laughing. It was such a great experience. It was super funny, and we almost got nothing done. But the film, that scene, that fighting scene, was one of the best scenes that I've ever done, and it came out so well, and we enjoyed it so much, and it was just a great experience. So that's how I got to that's basically how I got to becoming an indie film director, writer, director, and producer who now creates all of my own productions. Like I started out wanting to do it so that I could have something for like my self tapes or whatever, and now it's at the point where I shoot my own films and I'm producing them to take them as far as I as an actor want to go. So that's basically what I'm doing now. So I'm shooting this film and I'm taking them as far as I, as an actor, want to go with my career, being on a major channel like Netflix or Max or that kind of thing. So I'm continuously trying to increase the quality. And that's something that keep in mind when I'm doing things like buying certain pieces of equipment. So like the next camera I get, I want it to be even better than just my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, which is what I've shot most of my films on. I've used an Ursa, which I do love. I like the Ursas. I think Blackmagic does a very good job with their system that they set up with the cameras. Very user friendly. It's the same for each one of the cameras. I enjoy it. I would love to shoot on an Arri. I've studied Arris. I've dabbled with them a bit. I haven't had one long enough to shoot a film just because they're very costly, but they are also pretty user friendly, and you can do things like you can control most of it with your laptop, which is awesome. That's what's pretty unique about those cameras. But I would that's basically where I'm at now as a filmmaker. I was an actor who really wanted a shot, and I realized I was only going to get my shot if I created it myself. So I started doing extra work and putting myself into positions where I was shooting my own films. I put myself in the lead role. I've even tried just writing, directing, which was House on Taboo Lane, and that one was more well received out of all of. Well, I won't say it was more well received. I think the most well received film that I have is the first one that I did initially, which was Bear. House on Taboo Lane did a good job as far as views. Right now, it has the most views because I kept posting and taking down on YouTube. I'd post and take down because I wasn't sure like if I was doing things right, and each time they would all generate like a lot of views, but I wasn't I wasn't sure if I was doing all this stuff right as far as posting. So like I've learned a lot about distribution and how to just type out your bio correctly. And I've watched the forums, I've read the things on, I watched the the videos on YouTube from other creators and Instagram, and I've read, I've spent a lot of time on Reddit and all that stuff, and I've done all the self-taught techniques in YouTube University and all that. And the best thing that I can tell people is that if you're gonna be a filmmaker, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a filmmaker, if you want to do this yourself, always try to remember to just create a story that you want to tell the way that you want to tell it. Don't get so caught up in the, well, this is what's popular now. This is what's going to get me a bunch of views on YouTube or Instagram and doing this on TikTok and all these reels. And it's very easy to get caught up in that because you'll make something that'll suddenly take off and you'll look up and you've got 60,000 views on one of your videos, and now you're taking all these other outside things into consideration, which isn't bad. That's fine. Major productions do that because they have people who have jobs that are supposed to do that because they're trying to sell something to make a ton of money. It's not bad that you do that, but just understand that you're operating at a completely different level when you first come in as an indie film or short filmmaker. And the best advice that I can give people is to stick to an identity that you have as an artist and try to make things that you love to create. Tell the story the way that you want to tell it. And don't get so caught up in, think propaganda and being political. A lot of people who get into trying to make indie films or short films, is something I'm noticing is that, and it's translating into major films a lot with Disney and that kind of thing, is that people want to get super political and try to appease a certain crowd of people. And that's not good because people watch movies to be entertained. They want to see a good story. It's like when you remember that really good feeling that you got when you saw your favorite film, whether it's The Goonies or it's your favorite TV show That's So Raven, or your favorite sitcom like Girlfriends, or just anything. Two and a Half Men. Just you saw your favorite actor's performance, Jim Carrey in The Grinch, something that gave you that spark, that lit that fire in your belly to let you know this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love what I'm seeing and how it's being done and how they've done it. And I can just hear this huge voice, this voice in my heart tell me that this is what I'm supposed to do and I want to do it. I want to be the next Harry Potter. I want to be the next Idris Elba. I want to be the next Spider-Man. I want to be the next Green Lantern. I want to be John Boyega in Star Wars, blah, 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 all that. Try to remember that before you start filming, or before you even start get too far into developing your idea, so that you don't go, okay, we're going to turn this basically into one big political, high quality crap show. Because there are thousands of other people that are going to do the exact same thing that, you're doing. And that's, we're going to get some equipment and we're going to have it for a few days, and we're going to have all these people out here and we're going to take all these BTS shots, and it's basically just going to be playtime. And if that's how you treat it, you're going to get other people out there who treat it that way, and they're going to waste all your time and all your money. And this is basically what you got at the end of the day. Something that's been done on some high quality equipment that you've edited, that you can post on Instagram and show all your family and friends. If that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. But don't expect it to be received as a great story that you want people to, cherish and receive the way that you perceived it to be, because that's not what you're going to get. I hope that makes sense and I'm saying that right. Yeah. I know, like, I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of actors and actresses, and I ran into some I've had some really good ones and I've had some really bad ones. I'm not just, and I'm not referring to talent. You know, there's people that get out there, and that's just kind of the mindset that they have. Oh, it's playtime. Look at all these cameras and lights and stuff like that. I actually had one girl. I told her I was just like, you know, I don't really want someone filming while I'm filming. No, you can't set up your tripod and your phone. And she gets like, oh yeah, I understand that completely. And she actually shows up with her tripod and her phone and sets it up, and she's having her sister film while I'm filming. It's like, didn't we just have this conversation? This is this is exactly what I was talking about. I'm not shooting a giant self tape for you. I'm not shooting, you know, social media content for you. I'm making a film that I'm spending thousands of dollars on, and that actually ended up turning into one big ordeal of me wasting all this money on someone who was completely dishonest to me about all of her intentions when she got there and completely flipped the script on me, and it was just a complete shit show. I was very unhappy with that entire project, and I'm actually in the process of trying to reshoot that entire thing because that script meant a lot to me, and I ended up wasting a lot of time. So it's important to try to just keep those values close to yourself when you film, so that you can kind of know the you'll know the right people to work with, and you can kind of weed out those people as you're going through your casting and hiring other people to be on your set. But back to being an extra, that's that's basically how I learned how to shoot a film was, you know, all the extra work that I did. And I didn't stop being an extra after that first time, even though it wasn't everything I wanted it to be. It was a great experience that I really did enjoy doing, that I really did enjoy to do. And I still look to do extra work up there every now and again just because it's fun to sit there and watch everyone else do their thing. Because shooting a film is hard. So, you know, it's fun to be able to just sit there on set and just watch these professionals, other professionals do it and watch the way that they do it and watch everyone else go through their own process. And I get to kind of just sit there in the background like this. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. You know, and get a whole bunch of free food and it's like a vacation. Um, so I highly encourage people, like, if you want on-set experience, if you want experience as an actor and that kind of thing, definitely go ahead and do it. Be an extra. They'll tell you, oh yeah, you can't put on your resume this, but the best on-set experience that you're gonna get is starting out is doing that kind of extra work on those major productions because you're in the environment and you're watching it all happen out in front of you. I have no idea to this day how people can tell you that being an extra is not a good thing. You shouldn't do it too much. Don't listen to them. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's BS. Get out there, see it. You'll see if it's something that you want to be doing. You're in front of the camera and you're basically in a position where you're working and you get to watch the professionals do it while being actively involved. Especially if it's something where you're not all the way in the background or just, you know, someone whose car that they're using for the shoot. Like you're actually sitting there and you got your main cast here and you're doing your thing and you're trying your best to be as professional or whatever it is so that you don't screw up the shot and get kicked off a set and ask not to come back. And it is just, it's an amazing experience. So definitely don't listen to those people or those agents who tell you, oh yeah, don't do it that much, don't do it that much. Do it that much. Get out there and see exactly what it's like and see if it, get your feet wet and see if it's something that you want to be a part of. You get to see so many other different parts of the set too and seeing like what it is that you want to do. You might get out there want to be an actor and discover, man, that cinematography thing, that's really cool how they get that, they get the entire visual for the director. They capture the vision. Or man, that gaffing, man, I really like how they were able to capture that scene with the lighting. Or man, that wardrobe designer or make hair and makeup artist, like you'll get out there doing one thing and realize, man, I really like the way this looks, or I really like this, that, and the next thing. So definitely get out there and do some extra work. And it's also fun. I had a little bit too much fun. I started messing with one of my messing with the girl that I sat directly across from when I was doing it. They had set this blonde chick in front of me, and again, they don't actually say anything on set. It's very quiet. So we're doing the whole like mumbling, and I'm talking low enough that she can hear me. So like we'll be like, yeah, so what made you want to be an extra? So and that's kind of how I'm talking to her. She's just like, oh well, blah 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 blah. What made you want to be? Oh, I just want to come up here be an actor. And the camera's panning past us, and as soon as it gets close enough, I look at her and go, yeah. So how many kids you got? And she goes, I don't think they used that take because I watched the episode. And the good thing about that episode was is that I could see a lot of my face and me smiling, and I still like have like little videos saved of me on in this episode that I'll show people. So like that's me right there. That's me right there. That's all my teeth right there, far left of the screen. And you kind of have to pause it. It's clear for like a millisecond, and then suddenly, it gets real blurry because they're panning. So I'm not the center focus, but it's fun. It's a fun time. I definitely encourage anyone who wants to like get into acting and TV and film and stuff like that. Be an extra, see what it's like, get out there, whether you're in Atlanta, Los Angeles. I mean, even if you're in like a state like Ohio, where it's not very big, and I mean like Central Ohio. You're not in Cleveland or Cincinnati because Cincinnati's kind of coming up a little bit in the entertainment industry. Cleveland, it's had some long-standing effects. You've got the Cleveland International Film Festival. Cincinnati's getting there. Sundance is considering holding the festival there, which I would be very happy about because, Ohio would turn into a hub. Not to mention Martin Line Productions and all the great things that we're doing and all these big films that we're going to be making here in the near future. Speaking of which, I'm gearing up to shoot another feature film this upcoming summer. And I'm actually going to be working with a talent that I've worked with before in the past. And we've been collaborating on it from director to talent. And yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. Uh, but yeah, it's definitely get out there and, wherever you're at and just start doing it. Try to see if it's something that you want to do and where you want to be at. So that's the best thing that I can say to anyone out there who wants to get into acting, who wants to start making their own films. Like, that's my story. That's how I started out. I just basically woke up one day, I was at my job, and I said, this is stupid. I was driving in my cruiser. I really didn't make a whole lot of money as a law enforcement officer because I worked for a small little village. And I knew that I really wanted to be in acting. So I basically I bought my first camera, and it took a lot of my a lot. It took all of my check that I got just to be able to get this thing. And I knew I was gonna be broke for like a month after I did it because I had to break the cycle of how my finances was set up just to even buy this thing. So it was just it was a real just huge step forward for me to buy that camera, to learn how to use it, to get up there to Chicago and go through that whole experience of being on the Greyhound and doing the starving artist pilgrimage up to a whole different city and having absolutely no finances if anything does happen, other than a twin brother and a dad to call who will probably not be very happy that I made this decision to come all the way up here and one of them has to come get me. But it was one that I'm very happy that I did. I've been very blessed. God has really blessed me with. It was just such a huge decision. I can't be any more happy with listening to that voice, listening to that desire, that dream that I had in my heart to go after it. I have zero regrets. I have shot 6 different films. Two, three. Let's see. House on Taboo Lane's a short. Bear's a feature film. Scholar the Beautiful is a feature film. Um, Intruder's a feature film. So yeah, 3 of them are feature films and 3 of them are short films. The most recent one I just did was SUGA, and I'm about to shoot another one, and I'm at the point now where I'm so comfortable shooting myself, shooting my own film, shooting myself, shoot my own films, and I've developed a pretty good repertoire with some of the people that I work with. That there are a couple of people that I can definitely really count on, as far as when I do get into these, making these films. And I love meeting new people and offering new opportunities and positions to act for these new films. So yeah, hi, I'm Dorian Martin, and I'm a filmmaker. That's going to do it for our first episode. Join us next time on the Dorian Martin Show. Very simple name. That's going to start trending very well. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you liked our podcast today. Like and subscribe to our channel because I do post all of my films that I do create, indie and short, as well as some fun mini series clips to our channel, so that way you guys can be notified for when they do come out. I'm going to be posting more episodes as the year goes on, and hoping that this podcast does take off if you guys like it. If there's anything specific that you guys want us to talk about, that you want to hear, that any questions that you guys may have, drop them down in the comment section, or send us an email at martinlineproductions@gmail.com. And just go ahead and put in the subject field just so I can keep track of all of you guys. I don't know, the Dorian Martin Show podcast questions or something like that. Make sure that I can find it so that I can, because I definitely do want to get to all your guys' questions. And we'll see you next time.